I will begin tonight's program on the latest updates from the CCSA's announcement this evening. So Dr. Tawisin Wisanu-Yotin announced 3 key points today. So first of all, the CCSA has agreed to extend the quarantine period for arrivals from abroad back to 14 days instead of 10. So that means the arrivals, if they're in quarantine, they will not be allowed to leave their areas except for COVID-19 screening as well as for medical treatment. Secondly, the CCSA also agreed to readjust the zoning areas according to the severity of the COVID-19 situation of each province. And thirdly, they also agreed to readjust the disease control and preventive measures according to the new zoning areas. So the details of the new zoning areas according to the COVID-19 situation in each of the provinces. So according to this, there will be 6 provinces under the deep red zone. So there will be 6 of them, namely Bangkok, Chonburi, Chiang Mai, Nonthaburi, Pathum Thani, and Samut Prakan. And there will be 45 provinces under the red zone, and the remaining 26 will be under the orange zone. So there are restrictions for each of the zones. So we'll go over the restrictions for the deep red zone provinces first. Basically, everyone must wear face masks at all times, like what we're doing right now. Eateries will not allow dining in anymore. So you're not allowed to eat inside the restaurants anymore, but however, takeaway services will still be allowed up until 9 p.m. Activities more than 20 people are also not allowed. And as for the convenience stores, it will be allowed to open from 4 a.m. up until 11 p.m. Entertainment venues, pubs, bars must be closed. And for shopping malls can still open up until 9 p.m., where we have already seen that many of them have already imposed such restrictions by themselves already. And as for the schools, they must be closed. So that means all the students will have to engage with online learning for the time being. As for the restrictions for the red zone provinces, they are quite similar to each other, except for the dining in issue. So if you're going to eat inside the eateries or restaurants, it is still allowed up until 9 p.m., while the takeaway services are allowed up until 11 p.m. And as for the activities more than 50 people are not allowed. So these are slight differences between the restrictions between the deep red zone provinces and the red zone provinces. And as for the orange zone, some restrictions is that the convenience stores are allowed to open as normal. So whatever opening hours they have at this time, they can open as normal. And there are pretty much the same with the face masks, with the restrictions on dining in and the activities as well. And most importantly, what Dr. Tawisin said during that briefing is that he has urged everyone, that includes government sectors and private sectors, they all must work from home for at least another 14 days, which he said that this is the only way to ease the severity of the COVID-19 situation if they're not going to impose a lockdown or a curfew.
So he was asking for cooperation for all these companies to let people work from home. But as long as it's not a mandate from the government, I don't think all companies will actually comply.
Exactly, because
and people will have no choice, have to leave their house and go to work.
Yes, exactly, because some of the job requirements for certain positions, you have to come to the office or at the workplace to do that particular job. If it's not a job that only requires like documents or like meetings.
I'm talking about some company, even though some kind of work doesn't need to be in the office, but they're still not letting the employee to work from home anyway if it's not mandated by the government. So there is such things. I mean, there is some job that you cannot avoid leaving house and go to the workplace. There's that kind of job, of course. But then there is some kind of job that you can do it from home, but the employer still not let you do it. So as long as there is no mandate from the government, that will not happen.
Exactly. So, but there is an announcement from the CCSA. So we're hoping that all the companies will listen to what Dr. Thawisen said today.